This is a big CNN News 18 exclusive. For the first time ever since being arrested, Partha has now broken his silence. He's actually spoken to my colleague Shogato. Speaking exclusively to CNN News 18, the ex-TMC Mantri has now alleged he's a victim of conspiracy. And my colleague Shogato, in fact, spoke to Partha, is now joining us on the broadcast. Shogato, congratulations on this exclusive. The first time we are hearing from the man himself. What has he spoken to you about?
Well, before answering that question, I would first want to tender an apology to my viewers, because in that massive chaos in which both Partha and Arpita were being, wheelchaired inside, and so much of noise and chaos, and we were shouting questions at Partha Chatterjee, I couldn't be sure as to who exactly spoke. I initially thought that it was Arpita who was saying that, but in fact now we can confirm to you that Partha responded to our cries, our questions, just took his mask down for a split second and said, "Shorojantre Shikar," evidently meaning that I am a victim of conspiracy. Now, obviously it will be on Partha Chatterjee to justify or elucidate. I am not very sure whether he will have the opportunity to justify and elucidate on why he thinks that he is a victim of conspiracy. But clearly, Partha Chatterjee has, changed his stance. And Partha Chatterjee changing his stance before the media essentially means he is changing his stance before the Enforcement Directorate. You can rest assured that Partha Chatterjee is talking to the Enforcement Directorate in a way that he was not talking to that agency 2 days back. Why? I can tell you this, that every time Partha Chatterjee was approached by the media after his arrest, he has, spoken in monosyllables. The last time he was asked as to, the party thinks that unless proven guilty, the Chief Minister has said if somebody is proved guilty, she wouldn't mind even if that person is given life imprisonment. To which Partha Chatterjee replied, "Thiki boleche," which means she said the right thing. So obviously, while Partha Chatterjee was maintaining this kind of a stance only 2 days ago, today his brief pulling down of his COVID mask and saying Shorojantre Shikar, a victim of conspiracy, speaks actually volumes about how Partha Chatterjee is turning his position. He is speaking to the Enforcement Directorate, I can tell you that. That is the takeaway from this particular, one monosyllable, or whether that couple of words that he managed to speak out to the media. Even we were shouting at our top of our voice, asking him what exactly has happened. He has justified, saying, it is only a conspiracy that he thinks he is a victim of. Now, if that is the point, the stand that Partha Chatterjee is taking, what is the conspiracy? What is that conspiracy that he is the victim of? So obviously, what from a layman's perspective, one can safely assume that he is trying to talk about a larger conspiracy where he is trying to say that he is not the only one. He is just one of the many cogheads, in the wheel. So obviously, if Partha Chatterjee is saying that before the media here, he is saying a lot more before his interrogators. Is he talking about? Talking about the larger conspiracy? Is he giving out names? Is he, pinpointing people? Is he, giving out details of the share of corruption money? Is he giving out the route in which the money, was accumulated, collected, so on and so forth? We do not know. We also do not know as to whether the attempts to link Partha Chatterjee with Arpita Mukherjee at this point in time is a part of the conspiracy that Partha Chatterjee is talking about. We are not sure about that as well. We will have to wait and watch, the proceedings that take place before, the interrogation that's happening in the days ahead, in the weeks ahead, and what kind of submission the Enforcement Directorate is actually making before the court is also very, very vital. vital, because based on the information that they receive from the suspects, will they move court for the next course of action, for further remand, for further arrest warrants, so on and so forth. So it is a tad early at this point in time to exactly correctly interpret that that binary that Partha Chatterjee managed to utter before he was wheelchaired inside. Victim of conspiracy. Why he calls himself a victim of conspiracy is something that we can only assume by putting two and two together.
Okay,
back to you.
Sure, Gato. Now let's just go back in terms of the joint questioning that took place. Now we are understanding Arpita, in fact, broke down in front of the investigative agencies, completely absolving herself of any accountability, saying it was Partha's men who could have planted this cash that continues to be recovered by the ED. What are sources within the ED telling you?
Well, we have what I have from my ED sources is this much: that Arpita Mukherjee is more forthcoming compared to Partha Chatterjee, and I'm talking about yesterday, where the time is obviously an interrogation chamber within the Enforcement Directorate office at Salt Lake, Kolkata. What was happening? There was a TV which was fixed to the wall, where visuals of money haul from Arpita Mukherjee's Belghoria apartment were being splashed on TV. Both were being questioned at the time when those visuals were running on TV. And when Arpita Mukherjee saw that happening, she apparently got very excited, came close to the TV, then broke down while claiming that she had no idea that so much cash was being stashed in her apartment. She had no idea that that the staggering amount of cash was not found from just the closets in the living room, in the bedroom, but also inside the washroom, inside the toilet. She said that she had a fair enough idea about the ornaments, the gold. She in fact told the investigators, according to my sources, is that some of those ornaments she even wore occasionally, but she also maintained emphatically that those ornaments were not owned by her. She had no right to own those ornaments. She said that some of the cash that were found earlier, she said that she had no access to any of those cash that was found on her apartment in Diamond City in the Tollygunge area last week. So, but this cash, she said she had no idea that such a huge amount of cash was inside that apartment.
Okay.
Who was having access to it? According to Arpita Mukherjee and my sources in the ED, apparently Partha Chatterjee's men.
True.
Who had access to that. So obviously they are the ones, according to the investigators, who were stashing that cash inside that apartment, flat number 8A in block number 5 in Clubtown Heights in Belghoria, is where Arpita Mukherjee says things have happened the way she wants the investigators to believe.
We'll continue to track these developments as far as what you're picking up from ED sources, but let's also